Anthony the Great was a Christian monk from Egypt who lived from 251 to 356. He is known as the father of monks. Anthony was born in Coma, in Lower Egypt, to wealthy landowner parents. When he was about 20 years old, his parents died and left him with the care of his unmarried sister. Shortly thereafter, he decided to follow the gospel exhortation in Matthew 19:21. If you want to be perfect, go, sell what you have and give to the poor, and you will have treasures in heaven. Anthony gave away some of his family's lands to his neighbors, sold the remaining property, and donated funds to the poor. He then left to live an ascetic life, placing his sister with a group of Christian virgins. Having committed his sister to known and faithful virgins, and put her into a convent to be brought up, he henceforth devoted himself outside his house to discipline, taking heed to himself, and training himself with patience. He spent his days in work and prayer, imitating the virtuous men he encountered around him. At this point, Athanasius of Alexandria records in his biography of Anthony, "But the devil, who hates and envies what is good, could not endure to see such a resolution in a youth, but endeavored to carry out against him what he had been wont to effect against others. First of all, he tried to lead him away from the discipline, whispering to him the remembrance of his wealth, care for his sister, claims of kindred, love of money, love of glory, the various pleasures of the table, and the other relaxations of life, and at last, the difficulty of virtue, and the labor of it. He suggested also the infirmity of the body, and the length of the time. In a word, he raised in his mind a great dust of debate, wishing to debar him from his settled purpose. But when the enemy saw himself to be too weak for Anthony's determination, and that he rather was conquered by the other's firmness, overthrown by his great faith, and failing through his constant prayers, then at length, putting his trust in the weapons which are in the navel of his belly, and boasting in them, for they are his first snare for the young, he attacked the young man, disturbing him by night, and harassing him by day, so that even the onlookers saw the struggle that was going on between them. The one would suggest foul thoughts, and the other counter them with prayers. The one fire him with lust, the other, as one who seemed to blush, fortified his body with faith, prayers, and fasting. And the devil, unhappy wight, one night even took upon himself the shape of a woman, and imitated all her acts simply to beguile Anthony. But he, his mind filled with Christ, and the nobility inspired by him, and considering the spirituality of the soul, quenched the coal of the other's deceit. Again the enemy suggested the ease of pleasure, but he, like a man filled with rage and grief, turned his thoughts to the threatened fire and the gnawing worm, and setting these in array against his adversary, passed through the temptation unscathed. All this was a source of shame to his foe, for he, deeming himself like God, was now mocked by a young man, and he, who boasted himself against flesh and blood, was being put to flight by a man in the flesh. For the Lord was working with Anthony, the Lord who for our sake took flesh, and gave the body victory over the devil, so that all who truly fight can say, "Not I, but the grace of God which was with me." Anthony battled lust through fasting and prayer. The devil then appeared to Anthony in the shape of a black boy, saying, "Many I have deceived, many I cast down. But now, attacking thee in thy labors, as I had many others, I proved weak." When Anthony asked, "Who art thou who speakest thus with me?" he answered with a lamentable voice, "I am the friend of whoredom, and have taken upon me incitements which lead to it against the young. I am called the spirit of lust. How many have I deceived who wish to live soberly? How many are the chaste whom by my incitements I have overpersuaded? I am he, on account of whom also the prophet reproves those who have fallen, saying, Ye have been caused to err by the spirit of whoredom, for by me they have been tripped up. I am he who has so often troubled thee, and has so often been overthrown by thee." But Anthony, having given thanks to the Lord, with good courage said to him, "Thou art very despicable then, for thou art black-hearted and weak as a child. Henceforth I shall have no trouble from thee, for the Lord is my helper, and I shall look down on mine enemies." Having heard this, the black one straightway fled, shuddering at the words, and dreading any longer to come near the man. Anthony rebuked the devil by calling upon the name of the Lord, causing him to flee. If you want to overcome lust and temptation, be like Anthony. Fast, pray, and call upon the Lord. I'm Barbarian Herodotus. Follow for more history, theology, and masculine virtue.